So another memory that jogged loose was this fisheye that every angler has a story about the big one that got away, you know. And I remember the big one that got away from me was probably like, I don't know, it's probably the best story ever. It's not this fish. This fish is like 3 times the size of one of the story I'm telling. This is about like 1987, 1988. We were up at, we had a friend that had a boat who never fished before. And I found that to be weird. It's like, why do you have a boat then? You know, and you got a bunch of like the tubes that you drag around, water skis and so forth. And so, but my dad and I and he and his son got on his boat in Saranac Lake, New York, upstate New York, and we went fishing. And I remember it was like, we weren't getting a whole lot of action, not a whole lot of fish. My dad caught one and his friend caught one. And me and the other kid, Eric, his name was Eric, likely still is, he was unable to catch anything. I was unable to catch anything. So I took my bobber off and I threw out just a night crawler and a weight and threw it over into a nice shady spot. And I took out my book because back then I carried a book with me everywhere. And I started reading, a couple chapters. About 15, 20 minutes passed, and they're like, we're not getting any hits here. So we're going to move to another spot. There's a reel your lines in. So, okay. So I put my book down. I start reeling the line in. As soon as I start that, I see a little flash under the water. I was like, that's odd. And as soon as I'm going, that's odd, my line starts pulling like crazy. And I'm like, whoa. And I swear to God, it's the first good fight I ever had catching a fish. And boy, oh boy, was it a blast when I finally reeled in this 22-inch, 70-ounce, what's that, like 4.5, 5 pounds? Oh my God. Yeah. Pike. It's not as big as this one. But it was a good-sized pike. And I felt really accomplished, and it's like the first good fight I got. And my friend Eric got real excited. Where'd you catch that? It's like, over there. So he cast over there. It's like, yeah, his friends are like, where's he going? We want to go with him. And so we had already caught, like I said, the group had already caught 2 fish, and we had a stringer running through the 2 fish's gills and mouths, and we had it like tied to the side of the boat and hanging in the water. I guess is like a warning to their friends or something. And so we got the pike and we put him on the stringer, and I was like, oh, so proud. I wish I'd got a picture of it, but it was 1987 and nobody brought their Kodak disc. You know what I mean? So I tied it back up, and it was like, that's a big ass pike. And I felt like I didn't need to do any more fishing that day. So I went back to read my book, but Eric, boy, he wanted to catch a fish. He wanted to catch a fish. So we're all giving tips and stuff like that. Finally, he catches a fish. We reel it in. He's all excited, but the fish swallowed the hook, and it's way down in his gullet, right? And so he's pulling the fish in, and my dad's got the needle nose pliers. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this hook out for you here." And Eric's all excited and everything, and he goes, "Scott, go untie the stringer because we're about to put his fish on the stringer." I'm like, "Okay." So I untie the stringer and I hold the fish in the water, waiting. And he's like, "Oh, hell, I'm having a hell of a time. Scott, come over here and see if you can get this hook out." And I was like, "Okay." So I walked right over there, dropped what was in my hand, absentmindedly, and went over there, got the hook out, and we turned. Oh, finally, Scott and his small fingers got the hook out. So we walk over, here's the stringer. The stringer is gone. Yeah, I untied it and I dropped it because I'm 10 years old and an idiot. And we lost the pike. We lost the 2 other perch. God, we weren't that professional of anglers to have brought a cooler or anything like that. So there was, for a few years, I bet there was a pike swimming around with a stringer through its gills and mouth and 2 other fish on either side of its head until those fish died probably first, I would imagine. And I don't know. It's a weird thought to think of. It's like, what the hell happened to that pike? Because those stringers, they're hard to like come undone by their own. They got the ring. Yeah, it's fish centipede or something. Some weird malicious thing. This pike's running around with these 2 fish corpses on the side of his head. It's like, hey man, don't get caught. You'll never know what these twisted people up there will do to you. And so nobody believed us. Nobody believed the story because it's so ridiculous. That's truly how it happened. And so for me, the big one that got away is this story about this 22-inch, 70-ounce pike. And the reason why I remembered the numbers is because I knew no one would believe me. You know, I got three other people corroborating my story, and people still don't believe me that I caught this 22-inch, 70-ounce northern pike. And all the best anglers have a story like that, the one who got away.